Kevin Samuels, what intrigued you about his content? Because as a woman, I'm sure that you've seen more of the backlash than there's positives. Now, there are positives, but again, there's obviously more hate. But you as a woman, what made you see like he's not wrong?
He's not wrong. Well, he says it straight. He says there's no fluff. He just says this is what it is. And whether or not the person wants to admit to his perspective or his position, I think that there's a lot of truth in what he has to say. And I find it very interesting that he's getting a lot of pushback from women instead of getting intrigue, because he's trying to show them that there's other ways of perceiving themselves and the relationships, and they're very steadfast in seeing things in a specific way. And I find it very fascinating that he is offering a different perspective, and it might be a raw perspective, but I feel that there's a lot of value. And if you can be honest with yourself, then you will see the value in what he has to say.
That is very true. And see, that's why I'm going to ask you a question here. And I didn't write it down because I wanted to like throw you off your game. You're like, Okay. Why is it that people say, I always want you to be truthful, but they can't handle truth when the truth is delivered? Why is that? Because you see that on Kevin Samuels' live stream, or you see that in any general relationship. I always want you to tell me the truth. But when truth is delivered, either guy or female, it's like they get the truth, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're mean, you're this, you're that, you're everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Why?
Why are people do that, or women?
Yeah, why do people do that? Like they say they want something, the truth, they get truth, and then it's like now it's like victim mode.
Well, that it's like anything. People think that they want to hear, like I think what happens is they think that they have the capacity to decipher, or like take what the truth that's being told and do something with it, but really it's not really. At the end, it's they want to hear what they want to hear. They don't really want to hear the truth, because if they wanted to hear the truth, they would do something with it, but they don't.
See, I agree with you. They want truth, but when it comes to like dealing with truth, those are totally two different things. You can ask for something, but can you deal with it? It's something completely different now.
Yeah, and that takes a set of skill sets, right? Like, and those need to be developed. Because if it's outside of your purview or your capacity to manage that information, of course, you're going to go your default mode and say, well, it's not me, it's them, right? Like, you're deflecting.
And I love that you said that, because I think a lot of times, especially someone will say, well, I'm so great, but they have like all these failed relationships. Mm-hmm. And it's like, come on, like, let's be a little realistic here. You're probably not that great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be mean here or poke the bear, but I think that's where you have to be truthful with yourself and say, yeah, I have a bunch of failed relationships, and you have to accept that truth because there was a level of contribution that you played.
Yes.
And then you also have to be able to acknowledge that maybe I'm not as great as I think I am.
Yes.
And I need to reassess myself, especially when it comes to, everyone will say, well, I keep attracting jerks. Yes. You're not attracting jerks. You can't control what you attract, but you can control what you attract.
No, you can control what you attract. You attract what you are, right? So
true. But then that means that if you do and you only attract assholes, that means you're
compatible with those.
Exactly. That means you're compatible with those. But that's why I put a spin on it, because I say it's all about what you entertain.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
So if it comes in within your vicinity and you're entertaining it,
yes.
It's your fault now.
Yes, because you agreed to it. You said
yes. That's where the accountability part.
Yes.
comes in
Yeah.
because, like, let's say I'm getting to know somebody and I pull them in and then I find out that they're not the best, but I still choose to entertain them or keep them around. That's on me.
Yeah, that's your fault. You should have said, no, I'm nipping that in the butt right away. I don't want that. And next.
Well, I like that because, see, a lot of times, and again, we're going to jump in the question soon, but this is getting so good. People want to absolve themselves of accountability because it's very easy to just push the blame elsewhere instead of saying, like, it's me entertaining these problems.
Yes.
It's me. I got to look at myself. Right?
And the answer is always within yourself, right?
Exactly. If the answer is always within yourself, it's never outside of you, then it is your job to take accountability and search for those answers.
Yes. Yes. So, and reinforce what it is that you want. Don't expect others to reinforce it for you.
I love what you said.
To reinforce it. Yeah.
To reinforce what you want. I think when you go about doing that, and me and you talked about this off camera, you can't be afraid to lose somebody for it. If you are getting to know someone romantically and there's like certain wants that you need, like certain wants, like you're like, I need this in a relationship. If I don't have this, I can't be in a relationship with you. And you express that, you need to be able to do so without afraid to lose the person because they can turn around and say, well, that's not me.
Here, I'll give you an angle. If you're scared of losing the person, then you're probably going to make compromises, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
However, if you stand to be what's true for you and you reinforce it, that person actually will have more respect for you and more likely be more attracted to you.
Or on the flip side,
or they'll be they won't like it and go away, right? Like,
but see,
or.
But that's the part that's interesting. They might not like it, but they will respect you for standing on it.
Yes.
And I think that's the key thing. They might be like, oh, I don't like what you said, but I can respect it.
Yes.
And I think that's the problem.
You stood in your truth. I respect that you spoke what matters to you. And I respect that and I value that. Like, I admire that.
Exactly, guys. So sorry again. We when we get into it, we get into it. So, guys, we have a bunch of questions here that we're going to discuss. Her perspective, my perspective. So I said, you know what? Let's bring it on.